And so us, on the path to awakening, on the path to spiritual realization, on the path to an inner self-realized vision, we have to wake up in such a way that we throw ourselves open to the great possibilities that lie all around us and all through us. In other words, you can perhaps remember at times when you were a child where all you thought about was possibilities. Your dreams was about potential, what you were going to do. One of the things that Reverend Arlene does in the team room is to bring the teens back to what do they really want. What do they really want to see? What do they really want to accomplish? Who are they? What do they want? So that there becomes an alignment vibrationally with what they want to see in the world, who they want to be, rather than simply fighting circumstances and obstacles that might be in their life. This is what we're seeking to embrace as we embrace our inner child. We want to come back to that sense of wonder and awe about great possibilities, which allows for synchronicity and the flow state to take over, so that we're not caught up in how we're going to do something. We're caught up in the vibration of what it is, so that what it is can direct and lead and guide us into compelling right action, rather than the manipulativeness that comes from having to deal only with obstacles and circumstances, conditions, people, places, things, and situations. Are you following what I'm saying here? And so these young people are reminding us that as we move through life, we want to be in that flow state of wonder and awe. We want to, as Jesus the Christ indicated, be ye as a child that you may enter into the realm of heaven. He didn't say be childish. He said be childlike, which is that open space of possibility. Now, when we become serious, when the external world begins to beat us down a bit, and we begin to walk lockstep in the status quo vibration and a frequency that we find all around us, then we spend most of our time dealing with obstacles and hindrances and how we're going to deal with that. We contract our vibration, but when we come back to our childhood, our inner child, that Christ nature within us, we spend more time opening ourselves up to possibility, to potential. We come back to our reverential state. And in that reverential state, something begins to take us over. In that reverential awe state, where flow and synchronicity occurs, we're now guided by the higher power, the higher self, by the presence that is not contracted. I want you in this moment to think of a moment of a time in your life. When you think of this moment, it expands you. It doesn't contract you. It expands you. When you think of that moment, a smile comes on your face. When you think of that moment, there's an availability, there's an openness. Now, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to make a spiritual practice about maintaining that expanded childlike state, even if you don't know how to handle a circumstance or a situation. Then you become a vibrational match to the Spirit of the living God that becomes available to you as wisdom, guidance, direction, speaking to you in a language and in a way that you can understand, pulling something from within you that's not lost in time and space, but is being shot directly from the eternal. You are becoming a visionaire. You're becoming an individual that's holding a powerful vision of right action. Now, if you embrace that kind of spiritual practice on a regular basis, your vibration changes. There's an energetic shift that takes place. You still have discernment around the coagulated thought forms that lead to hate, that lead to bigotry, that lead to scarcity, lead to lack, lead to limitation, lead to an immature economic system, lead to a corrupt government, leads to all the things that we're dealing with in the visible. You have discernment about that, but something begins to happen when you become expanded rather than contracted. If you contract around obstacles, you move towards manipulation, a small self-assertion. You move towards ways to try to manage. When you expand, you become available to wisdom and insight. The still small voice, because you're placing your attention on vision, stops being so still and small because you're interested in it. In other words, we want you, and the children want you, and the youth want you, become more interested in possibility than an obstacle, so the flow state can take over, so that you can understand the blessing of being once an adult and twice a child. Once an adult and twice a child.